I'm Claire from Creative the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. Today's make is just using up your scraps really, your bits and pieces that you've got left over where you're manically trying to fit in all the Christmas crafting that you need to and you're still short of a few Christmas cards. Well, this is a perfect make for you. I've made 4 already. As you can see, you get 2 out of a standard A4 sheet, which is really handy. It's just got a panel of designer series paper on the back and quite a jaunty piece of white, basic white on the front that's been stamped, and you can see it just looks amazing. It's got a little bit of gold gilding flake on the top and just quick and simple layer inside with a sentiment, and whatever designer series paper you've got, you can see how beautiful it looks. Some of the stuff I have used, some Stampin' Right markers that you can colour directly on the stamps, decorated with happiness stamp set. Absolutely love this set, one of my all-time favourites. The shape for the inside, I used these, which are the deckled rectangle dies, and a few different inks and some other bits and pieces that we'll go through as we go. Really simple and quick, just a base card that's 4 1/8 by 11 3/4, scored on the long side halfway, which is roughly 5 7/8. The designer series paper on the front, the panel, it really can be whatever size you want. I tend to try and do about 1/8 of an inch smaller, but if you're using up your scraps, just use what you've got. You'll be surprised how great it comes out just using what you have. The white cards, I start with a white square that's 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, and I'll show you how to cut that at an angle, and that's about it. So should we get crafting? So I've taken my A4 sheet and I've cut it in half. So it starts off like that. Let's turn it that way so you can see. And on the short side, I've cut it at 4 1/8 to make 2 panels, turned it on the long side and scored it at 5 7/8. And that gives you 2 cards like so. So then what do we need to do with this? Cut your designer series paper or use up what you've got. This is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and that's going to go just directly on the front of the panel there. And I'm just going to glue that in place. Oh, something else that I do tend to do, if the paper is on a darker card, I mean it's not so bad with this paper because it's got lots of white. But if you're using a piece of designer series paper that's quite a dark pattern, sometimes the white core can show up when you layer it on the card. So I do tend to use my Stampin' Up markers and just go around the edge, just because it helps the paper blend into the background card. I'm just using the fatter end and just literally rubbing it along the edge of my designer series paper. Very quick and simple to do, and we're just going to glue that on place. So just put some glue all over, like so. You can probably hear from my voice that I've got a bit of a cold. It's like the whole world has got a cold at the moment. Everybody I know. I think we shielded ourselves so well the last few days that now we're just picking up everything, aren't we? Hopefully it'll be out the way for Christmas. So that's the front bit. Now the square, what do I do with that? So this is my 4 1/8. What I want it to do is be at an angle like this. Now the easiest way to do that is choose one of the corners and put that to the corner of your card there and just use that as your pivot, and then decide what sort of angle you want. Now this will be determined by what you're going to stamp on here. So if you're just going to stamp a sentiment, you can have it quite an angle like that because you're going to cut most of this off. But if, like me, you want to do this pattern, you need quite a long bit for this bit and to fit your sentiment in. So this, I'm going to go sort of around there. So you can still see some of the designer series paper, but there's quite an angle on it. Now the best way to do this, I've found, is to use some washi tape. If you just take some of the stickiness off by putting it on your jeans or whatever, put it in place like that and then turn it over. And then with a pencil, you can mark it. Now, if you're okay with just going ahead and cutting it, you can bypass this and just cut that off. You just need to make sure that your point is in the point of your card. So I'm going to take that off, and you can see that's on there. Now, you could just cut this just with some scissors, or you can use your paper trimmer and just do it that way. So you're just lining up your pencil mark on your cutting line, which is slightly different to what you would normally do. You would normally put it up to the edge. So you're looking for your pencil mark and you're just looking for it in the cutting line here. So just about there. And then what I do is I tend to put my blade down in the middle and cut up and down so I don't have any dented bits on it. So that's one side. And now do this side. So just checking that the pencil line is roughly straight. And again, lift it up until I'm in the middle and go up and down, and you end up with that sort of shape. So if I bring my card back in, I'm just going to check on that. Well, it was that way, wasn't it? So I'm just going to go along the edges and make sure they're all flat. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like on there, like that. I just need to decorate it. I'm happy with that. So if I get my stamp set over, okay, I'm actually going to do the baubles first. Now this is my straight line along the top, so I'm going to use my grid paper to guide me. I'm going to get the baubles out, and I've got 3 different sizes. So one, long one as well, and a shorter one, like so. And I'm going to start with this circular one. No, actually, I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to use real red because that's the colour of my base card. And I want it to coordinate. So I'm just making sure that my paper is lined up, and then I'm putting that as close to the edge as I can and just stamping straight on. So take that one off. Then I'm going to do the long one because that's going to be the one that's really going to hang down in the middle. Put that about there, like so. And then the last one is this round one. And that's going to go over here. So that's that one. So now I just need to do the greenery. Now you could mask these off so that you can stamp and do all sorts of clever things with them, but we're making quick cards. So this is going to be a quick way to do it. We're going to take our little sprig that's in this set. So there is a big one as well, but we're just using this little one here. And I've got 3 greens. Which ones have I got? Well, I've got a really old one there, Call Me Clover. Didn't really even realise that. This one is Evening Evergreen. And I think this one is Shaded Spruce. So just get a couple of different greens that are in your paper or that you've got, and all you're going to do is use the side of your marker and just brush it like a paintbrush. So I'm going to put 2 colours on this one, and I'm going over what I've already done with the dark. And I'm going to line it up so that it goes next to, like that. So that's my first. And then where it overlaps the ornament, I'm going to do that second. So if I show you, can you see it fills in, even though it goes over a little bit, you're not going to notice that in a minute. And I'm going to keep doing that. So I'm going to do dark green and a lighter green and just keep mixing and matching them. And I have a bit that comes down there and then a bit that goes there. So it just gives you a layered look. This time I'm swapping the green, just going a different green there and then another green there. So you can't even see that it's different greens until you stamp. So that's going to go. And just keep changing the angle that you're stamping up. And then eventually it builds up the background. And it just looks like a Christmas tree. You could probably get a third one out of it as well if you wanted to. And just keep going until you're happy that you've got a Christmas tree effect. And then I'm just going to do the end bit. I'm going to do some filling in. That's going to go there. I feel like there's a bit there that needs a bit of a fill in, like so, and there's probably a bit there, like that. So if I show you that now, okay, that's just along there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is go along the outside of the card, just with the side of my pen, just so I don't have a harsh white edge. Got some ink on that as well, but don't worry, we will cover that up in a minute. So that's like that. So that now stands out against a white background. What should we do next? The ink on the baubles. So in the set, you also get these little squiggly bits that will fill in the ink on the baubles. So for instance, this one is this one. So let's do that. Oh. And I'm going to use a pink. I'm using polished pink, but I'm actually going to stamp off. So I'm going to stamp off so it's not quite so bright, and then stamp over it. And that just gives that effect. Okay. And one of the other ones is this one, and one of the other ones is this one. Oh. So this is the fatter one, so that's going to go on this one. And I'm just lining it up with the top of this shape here, because I'm going to do the little attachment above with the gold. So that one's done. And then the last one here, stamp again, and then that's going to go on there. So now you've got that effect. Okay. How do we do the gold? So, little bit of Tombow, just a tiny bit, just a little drop on there. Oh, is it coming out? Just on that little patch of white. There. So can you see I've got a little blob of glue, not on the loop, just on the little block underneath. I'm just going to put that to one side. No, actually I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So let's do the sentiment next. So the sentiment is Christmas greetings. And I'm going to use the ink pad. And I'm using Evening Evergreen, I think. I hesitated because the base card is red, but I think it'll be better. And that little bit of splodge, I'm going to try and cover that up with a bit of my sentiment, so you don't even notice it. Okay, else could I do? Oh, so there's this really lovely colour called crushed curry, and actually it can look like it's gold. So I'm going to use that to do a few little stars. So also in the set is these little bits here, or this little bit here. So I'm going to see if I can find that. So there's a little bit of a star there. And again, I think I'm going to stamp off. Yep. And I'm going to fit that in between. So I'm going to put one there. Stamp it off again. I think I'll put one down here. So there. Stamp it off again. And I'm going to put one here. And turn it around so I can fit it in. There. So can you see that? Oh, that looks a bit more of a bling, like that. Okay. And then while that glue is still drying, because it's going to dry and be a bit tacky, I'm going to do the inside of the card. So we've got one of these shapes, and I'm going to do some of that greenery again on opposite corners. So I'm going to bring that stamp back in, bring my markers back in, do a little bit of this again. See, it's just coloured two colours. Put one bit there and one there. Just looks so nice. It really does look like spruce, doesn't it, from your Christmas tree? And adding the two colours as well is just so effective. Do that there. Hang on, Rose. The cat wants to come in now. It's cold out. I'm going to do opposite now. So I'm going to do that one and that one. Do one more bit on there. Like so. So that's that done. Oh, got green on me. Might have to do it there as well now. Let's just do a little bit there to hide that green ink splodge. There you go. And then what else do we need? Some gold for the sentiment. I'm going to use crushed curry because it's so much easier. Crushed curry. Wishing you a season decorated with happiness. Okay, like so. Almost looks gold-like. So that's the inside done. Bring this one back in. Now, that should be tacky enough to put a little bit of your gold gilding leaf. So you don't want a big bit. Just choose a little bit and just dab it over the top. Now, at this stage, you're not going to rub it away because you need to leave it to dry. Hang on, Rose. Nearly done. Okay, like that. Don't sneeze. Going everywhere. Okay. So that's quite a big bit, so I might rub some of it off. Okay, so that's that. Oh no, I've got green on that as well now. I'll have to fix that. Okay, bring my card back in. That's going to go on there. I'm going to concentrate on getting it in that corner first, like so. What can we put on there? Some dimensionals. Did I bring that through? So I'm just going to put some dimensionals on my card, and then it will be, ta-da, moment. So, if you've liked watching my video, using up your scraps, have a look at my other videos. I try and post once a week. It's usually something like a fun fold or a bit of a wow card. I always use Stampin' Up stuff because I love it so much. Coordination is next to none. And if you're in the UK, you can shop with me for the supplies. Or sign up to my newsletter. just by going on createtheottaway.co.uk. So that is done. I'm going to fix those two little blobs. I will have a think. I might put some gold gems on as well just to hide those. And I will get my brush and just go around those a little bit more, although they don't need too much. Stick this on the inside. Let's do that now. And that's it. All done. There you go. Another one done. So if I bring those in, you can see all the different effects of the cards, and they are just beautiful. They're even more beautiful in person because you can really pick up the gold. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully see you next